Hello everybody, welcome to Abba's Hand, and today I will show you how I created this game where you play as a giant monster and can destroy literally everything. It was fun and interesting to make, and it's not even complete yet, and I'm going to show you. But first, I need to explain a few things to shed context. So this is a giant creature. He usually sleeps for about 100 years at a time and is awake for a few tens of years at a time. He coexists with humans and never really had that many problems with them. However, one day he woke up to find civilization being built on his territory. He initially protested and wasn't very violent. He just knocked over a few things here and there to get the point across. However, the officials of the town didn't listen and instead tried to attack him. And unlike past skirmishes he had with humans, these tanks and stuff actually hurt. So he decided to force them out. He would either make them leave or he'd destroy their entire city trying. With that in mind, I began modeling. I reused a model that I was using for something else because I was not about to make a whole scratch-made model if I didn't have to, and it actually worked out really well. I made a normal map and painted him. Literally was painting his scales almost one by one. It was kind of fun and interesting. And anyway, after I did all of that, I animated him and took him into Unity. This here is a placeholder that I made just to test mechanics and make sure things are set up. Like the buildings, I made different variants of buildings with different shapes to make the city look diverse, which was very tedious, but worth it. And before I get into how the buildings work, I'll explain how the player works. Now, I actually used something called root motion a lot with this player controller. Basically, his motion being controlled by the animation themselves rather than a scripted player controller. At first, his walking felt kind of clunky and chunky. I wasn't really used to the way it kind of just stepped and stopped and stepped again, but I got used to it and it actually feels pretty cool. I did this to emphasize his weight, and as you can see, I added a fire breath attack. I know fire generally can't really level a building in of itself, but this is a giant monster. This man can breathe really, really hard. And as for the buildings, I made it so that, to save for performance, they start out as regular whole simple models, but as soon as his fist touches them, or his hand, they switch to a model that is in pieces and fragments. From there, whatever fragments physically touch his hand will come loose and will just shatter. And here is a quick time lapse of me literally just decimating everything, trying to get rid of every single building. Yep, I added a roar. I'm actually quite proud of it. Now let's talk about some of his other abilities. This monster has the ability to pick up and throw buildings. The system is not really refined yet. I'm still processing and developing it. However, it will get there. As you can see, it doesn't really make much sense, but it's been worse. I'll show you. That ain't right. This is even less right. Yep, roaring in anger because he cannot even throw a building properly. And like this. You see that's horrible. But he can also smash buildings. I wanted you to have several ways to cause mayhem and destruction so that the combat, gameplay is not one-dimensional. And you also had a tail whip attack, but it was kind of buggy for how it affected the feet, so I temporarily scrapped it. However, it's fine. Now let me get into the enemies. The tanks. They are the most basic and first enemies you'll encounter in the game. They are very weak because you can smash them, and it literally takes them 100 shots before they defeat you. You could trample into them, which is what you just saw, a dash. However, they're actually smart. They'll only shoot you once you're in range and won't shoot if you're behind a building to avoid causing collateral damage, and if you go too close they will back up, so if you want to smash them, you'll have to back them into a building in order to pound them. See, I'm trying to get them and they're backing up. They are not letting me get too close. I wanted the tanks to feel actually alive. Yeah, that would be terrifying to see coming at you. But whatever the case, that is pretty much it. A game where you could decimate everything in your wake by charging through it, smashing it, swiping it, or whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed, and when I develop it more, I will probably release it. So have a great day, thanks for watching, please subscribe, and have a great day. Bye!